Hey everybody, I'm Stephan Kesting. This is Rob Bernacki, and today we're really getting into it. Strong side, weak side. So, you and I put out an app,
Yes.
the BJJ back attacks formula. And in it, we pretty much said, we showed the strong side of the back and the weak side of the back. And we'll get into that in a second.
Yep.
And we said that the strong side is better. And oh my God, did that set loose a firestorm. If you want to go look at that video, what are the strong and weak sides of the back?
Yeah.
You can search for it on YouTube. I'll put a link somewhere below and you can find it that way. I got emails about this. Yeah, Frank, I got your email. There were comments on the YouTube, there were comments on the forums, because quite frankly, other people are out there advocating the weak side, like Henry Gracie.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
we are contradicting Henry Gracie. Go.
Okay, so your big man is Henry Gracie. Our big man is going to be Marcelo Garcia. Let me just preface this by saying the weak side is not bad and it's not wrong. I use the weak side. The app, the BJJ back attack formula, is a system that we use at my academy to get people very good at getting to controlling, attacking, finishing from the back, and it's a snapshot of the development that I took to get there. Since developing that system, I have added more to it, and at 3.5 almost hours, there's only so much we could have done. So to add an entire weak side attack section would have just been too much. So we did include a little bit of how to use the Kimura control to attack from the weak side, and that is sort of the crux of the weak side, and why I think the strong side is stronger, is because you can have a direct back attack system based around the strong side and attacking the back, the chokes. To attack from the weak side, you pretty much have to have a Kimura/triangle attack. So you're adding more skills. So you're creating more complexity, which again doesn't mean that it doesn't work or one's always better, the other one's always better. It's just in general, keep it simple, stupid. Is if you're just trying to teach back control, that's a formula that we follow.
Well, certainly in my development, I made a huge leap in my back attack game as soon as I learned the difference between strong side and weak side, and start emphasizing the strong side as well.
Yes.
And also, I don't know what the data is, but it does seem that the people who go weak side tend to be more gi based, and the people who go strong side do both gi and no gi
absolutely
very well. So it seems like it's a more transferable game.
If
Somebody will come along and prove me completely wrong.
Well, if somebody can get me some harder data, because I'm just doing this from observation, in watching the EBI overtimes, the guys who
When they start out
with the back control, with the full seatbelt, much more of the escapes come from guys who get to the weak side. And even when you're dealing with practitioners who are very good at attacking with the Kimura control, the guys are still getting out just because of body type differences. And that would be the other reason that I would recommend focusing on the strong side, is because I think the strong side can be effective regardless of body type, whereas the weak side favors long, lanky weirdos like myself and Mr. Henry Gracie, who is not a weirdo, but he is long and lanky. So.
Sure. Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about this particular. So first, for the people who don't know what strong and weak is.
Sure. Strong side, I'm on my right, with my right hand being exposed to attack the neck. I'm on my elbow, maintaining base, and I'm keeping my chin over my partner's shoulder, maintaining rotational control. Weak side, I've got my head under my partner's head, my arm is available to attack here, and I'm available to transition to rotational lever-based control, lever-based rotational control. I should get my own lingo down before I shoot a video. So when I'm here, if I don't have the ability to properly control this lever, I'm going to be much more vulnerable to my partner getting exactly to there and escaping. So that's why we call it the weak side. There's a readier, easier escape on this side that can absolutely be dealt with if you understand rotational control and lever control, but it does require more techniques in your tool belt.
And certainly in no-gi grappling, that escape that I just did, putting the head on the ground and then scraping you off my back, is, 7 times out of 10, that's the one that you see.
Yes.
By guys who know what's coming.
Exactly.
Okay.
So again, when we talk about, as you mentioned, gi practitioners, there are a few more options here. No gi practitioners tend to emphasize, although there is, again, more and more nowadays, you'll see people using the Kimura control to transition, stay on the back. I'm a huge advocate of the Kimura control. We have an entire Kimura control system we teach at my academy. But, as I mentioned, dimensions. I'm a relatively tall person. If I want to keep your elbow off the mat, I can do it. If I want to switch to triangle, like body triangle, leg triangle type stuff, I can do it. If you've got shorter, stubbier limbs, and someone's got longer limbs, and you're trying to keep their elbow off the mat, but you can't, they're going to be able to generate base and drive into you much more. So if you don't have the ability, if, for instance, from here with your legs to bring your leg all the way across someone's hip, if you're only able to kind of get to here, and you're trying to do a weak side attack, you won't have the same level of control. Right now, if, start driving your elbow and shoulder hard to the mat, I can't do anything to affect it. So, whereas, if I end up here and I've got kind of short, stubby limbs and I'm just kind of latched onto you, drive in whichever way,
There's no way I can get my head
exactly.
to that and shoulders to the mat here.
The defense here is to get this arm clear to this side. And that's a tall order if I'm in base. If I move to here, it's a different story. So I think one of the arguments for the weak side is if you're attacking the strong side this way and not placing yourself into base on your elbow, giving access to a lever for your opponent to control, then the weak side has a lot more merit. But if you're up in base here with your shoulder behind your partner's neck and you're hiding the killing hand the way we show in the back attacks app, I mean, there's no way you're getting my arm out of this position.
There's no way I can get my hands up to the killing hand. And also your chest and chin and body being pressing down here, it just adds an extra level of confinement. It really controls my ability to rotate.
Exactly. And this is where we get into the difference between techniques and principles. As we cover so much in the back attacks app and in the other apps we've produced, understanding the alignment of the human body and how much base, posture, and structure contribute to your effectiveness as a grappler, and being able to identify where those things contribute to what is actually what makes you effective, not so much being a practitioner of technique A. So I would argue that if you truly understand base, posture, and structure and you use the weak side, you're gonna be really good. If you don't understand base, posture, and structure and you use the strong side, you won't be as good. So it does, to a certain degree, boil down to more principles than techniques, but I believe those principles are easier to express on the strong side.
Okay. Given all that, let's give the people something to work with. If they do end up finding themselves on the weak side, how do they get back to the strong side? I know you covered in the app, let's cover it again here.
Sure.
And also, what are some of your favorite attacks from the weak side?
Absolutely. So let's start with, if I'm on the weak side, I'm going to attempt to insert the twister hook. So I had my heel against Stephan's thigh. I'm going to try to extend it and hook the top of my foot against sort of the midpoint of his shin, creating a lever here. I can now step this hook off, extend, and pull Stephan back to the strong side. That would be probably my favorite.
So you see the Mendez brothers do this all the time?
They use this control for all sorts of stuff. You can use it to reset the back. You use it to take the back from the berimbolo position, which is amazing, which we also cover on the app, by the way. But yeah, because it's lever-based rotational control, you can really move somebody around quite a bit with it and then settle up on the strong side. If we end up on the weak side and you want attacks, transition to the body triangle, I would definitely recommend, and then transitioning to the Kimura control, I would recommend. This is going to restrict your partner's hip movement quite a bit more, and this is going to enable me to use my leg here as a pendulum, which occasionally will allow me to cover this arm. And once I've got that covered, we can just attack rear naked choke, we can attack collar chokes, we can move into the crucifix style attacks. My personal preference, if you're going to not go for, let's say, the choke style attacks, if you want to go to the arm attacks, is once we get here, if I get my elbow in front, is to extend my arm to my head. Because as long as you can keep your arms here, it's going to be very difficult for me to finish the arm bar once I get it. But if I manage to extend this, grab the back of my head, and break the grip here, now I can start to transition the arm bar with your arm at full extension. So I'm starting with your arm at partial extension. I still have to engage in the battle at the end. But once I get the hand to my head, and I have your posture broken and your structure broken, the arm bar at the end is pretty much a gift.
Okay. Well, hopefully that stirs the pot further and stimulates further discussion of strong side versus weak side. But I think we've made a case. Well, I'm still a strong side advocate and strong side for life. All right. Take care, guys. Catch you in another video.
Thanks.